Father Time waits for no one. Fear not what might not be, but focus on what could be. Own your destiny. Command your future. Know why you are meant to succeed. Welcome back to another episode of The Why Behind You. Today I want to talk about an element of everyday life that hits us all. Pressure. We're all going through very turbulent times and often need to understand where we've been, where we are right now, and most importantly, where are we going? But as we think about pressure, what exactly is pressure? So by definition, pressure is the continuous physical force exerted on or against an object by something in contact, or the use of persuasion, influence, or intimidation to make someone do something. So when you take a moment to reflect on your life, and I've done this, I do this daily, but take a moment to reflect on your life. What is your pressure? And how has it affected you? Take some time and think about that. It may be a very small thing to say, well, I don't have time for that. Or I know what my pressure is and I just keep moving. But think about how pressure has caused you at times to step outside of your normal self and become a different person from the one you recognize on a daily basis, or the one that your friends and family recognize on a daily basis. In this very moment, what is your strain or your stress that has you bearing the weight of the world? I know what mine is. I know all of the ones that are mine. And then you take it a step further and look at, how is it affecting your mood? How is it affecting your ability to communicate and interact with those around you? Has it changed? Has it been something that's gotten better? Has it been something that's made you better or made you worse? And really challenge your interactions with those that are nearest to you. So I'm sure, like many of us, that list might be longer than usual because of the current times that we're all facing and the aftermath ripple effects of the carnage that has been inflicted on us. And that's different for every single one of us. When I often reflect on my life's journey, every memorable pressure point or struggle taught me something about myself, and it gave me a greater clarity on the strength of my character. And we're going to talk quite a bit about character today in this segment, because it has a direct reflection or a direct correlation, I'll say, on pressure and how you endure pressure. One thing that I really noticed over time, and we're talking about, it took a lot of experiences, a lot of situations for me to get here, but I noticed a change in my point of view when I began to focus on what lesson I was meant to learn from each struggle. That's when the things went off. The light bulb kind of lit brighter than ever. There's always a lesson or a silver lining that we must recognize, or we must learn, and we must know. And sometimes it may take outside support or an outside or independent point of view to really be able to highlight that for us and put things in perspective. I'll tell you, when we're clouded by being in the thick of things and the pressure of the world is on us, and the only thing we can think about is, how do I overcome this, or how do I get through this? Sometimes we can't take a step back and see the big picture. I'm definitely a victim of that, especially in recent times. But there's always a lesson to be learned in every situation, both good and bad. And we should make note of those lessons and keep it in our mental repository, because that experience will equip us to better navigate other turbulent times ahead. As I think about my younger years, I think about a lot of the experiences that I had then. I think about a lot of challenges that I may face now. And then I also see how some things I don't fret about, I don't stress about. But then there are other things that are new to me that I may put a little bit more focus on. And I think that that's part of inexperience or lack of experience, dealing with something similar. But people often look at me sometimes as I'm going through any type of stressful or strained situation and say, well, I don't understand why you're so calm. I don't understand why you are not really freaking out. And it's all about life experiences. It's all about understanding you and developing that understanding of how you plan and navigate through things. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. We're often quick to react by asking, why did this happen to me? And I'm always talking about understanding the why behind you, right? But this is the one area where the focus should be less on the why and more on the what should I learn from this situation. The reality for me was every lesson learned was another badge earned in my efforts to strengthen the stamina of my character. Character is the root of a lot of the things that we do or don't do every single day because they're innate. I'm a human just like you are. So there are times when my reaction to things aren't as rosy. My cool, calm perspective and level-headedness isn't as steady, as consistent. My mood isn't always perky, and that's okay because I'm human. We need to have those moments to get whatever that feeling or thought might be off of our chest. We have to have that outlet. The key is recognizing, when you have stepped outside of your norm and determine how to reel yourself back in and push on, push forward, push through. Our character is heavily influenced at an early age by when, where, and how we're raised. But as we become older, it can be altered by life experiences we encounter because they're more recent, they're top of mind and top of memory. And I sit and often reflect on these things. I think this is a very hard perspective to gain or to understand, or better yet, to say embrace, if you don't take the time to reflect on a tough, strenuous situation that you've encountered once or after it's passed. It's a reality that our character is the core of everything that we do in every aspect of us. I'm a firm believer that your true character is revealed in times of discomfort, uncertainty, and when the pressure of your situation is unbearable. And it leaves you with that feeling that there's no way out, there's no end in sight, and there's no way to get through this. It's a reality that our true character is dramatically influenced by life-changing experiences. It's during these times of immense pressure and strain that both our physical and our mental abilities are put to the test. A display of exceptional character is easy when things are great and everything is going our way. It's easy. When things aren't hard, when you're not challenged, when you're not pressed, when the thought of failure is not upon us, most people operate or navigate in a different way. It's easy when everything is easy, but when things are hard, are you able to hold steady and persevere? Or do you reach shaky ground, crumble, and fall apart? But let me be very clear. If you do reach that point where you feel like you're about to crumble, you feel like you're about to fall apart, that's okay. Pick yourself back up. Because everybody deserves that moment. Sometimes you need to break all the way down to the core of everything before you can rebuild yourself even stronger. Now, for the record, I know sometimes these words are used interchangeably, but character is not to be confused with the idea of personality. They're often related, but not the same. Character consists of your learned behaviors, while your personality is rooted in your inborn traits. But I've woven in character and personality. And you might ask, what's the point of this focus? How does this relate to pressure? What is the significance of understanding your true character under pressure? As I said earlier, we're often quick to classify or look at pressure as something that's negative or bad. but all pressure is not bad. It may feel that way. It may come off that way, but that's where we learn quite a bit about ourselves. We have to understand what it is we are supposed to learn out of those moments. But you're not going to learn that, and you're not going to get that perspective until after you've gone through it. Now, I read an article by leadership coach Douglas Conant the other day, and it was interesting because he talked about 3 important reasons why pressure is a privilege. And he discusses a couple of great points that I'm going to highlight here, three specific areas. And if you get a chance, you can look him up. Again, it's leadership coach Douglas Conant. But number 1, he said, pressure makes us better. If we have trained and prepared along the way, when challenges arise, we're forced to apply all the knowledge and ingenuity we can muster. It's about proper planning, performance, and education. And we've all heard about the 5 P's. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. But I'll take it even a step further and say that proper planning prevents piss poor performance under pressure. The more that we plan, the more that we practice, the more that we train our minds and we train ourselves, and we learn from the experiences that we've actually encountered previously, the better equipped we are when we face adversity or we face pressure, we face strain later on. It may come in a different form or a different arena, but we are better equipped overall. Number 2, pressure challenges us to stay honest. Conant said, pressure makes us better because we are forced to think creatively and problem solve on demand. Now, that's an interesting part or interesting comment because I see a lot of people, a lot of colleagues, a lot of friends that are not necessarily ready and able to navigate through any type of stress or strainful time. But a lot of people aren't always able to navigate through those things and think quick on their feet. And some people will never be there, and that's okay. And if you're not in an element or an area where you're comfortable doing that, just acknowledge that. Take that time to say, all right, this is not my strength. This is not my area. But you know what? Give me a second to rethink and reevaluate, and then I'll move forward. So I think that we have to understand our strengths. We have to understand when we're faced with that pressure. But as we talk about being able to think quick on our feet, we don't need to cut corners. It doesn't make us better to sacrifice our character or use cheap workarounds, because at the end of the day, cutting corners and cheating ourselves won't get us ahead. You don't have to cut corners if your past experiences have prepared you and you're confident in your ability to navigate turbulent situations. You just don't have to. All right? So number 3, pressure helps us engage with life more meaningfully. Conant says we can't experience the thrill of high achievement if we don't embrace all aspects of our life's journey, both the ups and the downs. And again, it goes back to pressure is a privilege. We feel the success and we embrace the success and we enjoy the ups more because we have experienced the downs and the lows. The ups are less sweet if the downs don't test us in some way. So going back to the comment earlier, we have to understand what we are to learn out of the woefully stressful, pain-filled times in order to appreciate the highs of each success. We have to understand that. As I think about those 3 points, the undertone and the underlying thought for me is preparation. Preparation is the theme that's underneath all of it. Preparation allows us to manage pressure better. Preparation allows us to be more confident in navigating turbulent times. And simply, preparation is the key to everything. As quoted in the Leadership Secrets of Colin Powell in '03, he said, "There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." End quote. And I truly believe, we have to find ourselves before we can define ourselves. And the way that we do that is through experience. It's through learning. It's through preparation. And it's through execution. Right? It's the moments of pressure, stress, and strain that help to build our character and define our true self. Identifying our true character under pressure can bring a revelation of unwanted reality sometimes. Think about it. We may have a formed perception of something some way, and then next thing you know, when reality hits, we're like, whoa, no, this is not me. This is not who I am. I don't believe it. It's do-over. No, we don't get to do-over. That can happen. Or it could reinforce already formed perceptions, of our vulnerable and raw selves. How do we build character? How does it come about? Does it happen overnight? No. Character is not built overnight. Building character takes time, and most of all, experience. When you experience pressure, you build character. I'll say it again. We're not going to just talk about going through pressure, strain-filled times, and not what actually happens as a result of that, because character underlies it all. Again, I recently saw a phrase that said, "Pressure does not create character, it reveals it." And this is so true. Such a true statement. All of our experiences over time have helped to build the character lying beneath the surface. We've all seen it. A family member, friend, associate, or work colleague that can react a certain way when everything is going great. But doesn't it seem really interesting, though, that same individual will begin to mentally and emotionally dismantle, break down when pressure is heavy, when the timelines are tight, and the stakes are high. They just can't handle it. And then they get flustered. And then everything else eventually falls apart. Author, lecturer, and story consultant Robert McKee once said, and I quote, "True character is revealed in the choices of human beings made under pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation. The truer the choice to the character's essential nature." It's kind of interesting, as we talk about different times, different events, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the revelation may be, you have to understand who you are. And who you are is truly revealed when the stakes are high and the pressure is heavy. We think about elements that are formed under pressure. All right. One that everybody knows very well, diamonds. Diamonds are formed deep within the earth, about 100 miles or so beneath the surface in the upper mantle. And that's obviously a very, very hot area of the earth, or a part of the earth, right? It's closer to the earth's core. There's a lot of pressure and weight of the overlying rock bearing down. So that combination of high temperatures and high pressure is what's necessary to grow diamonds in the crystals in the earth. As we discuss this example, let's think about the parallels to everyday human life, because there are a lot here. So you think about this, getting back to the diamonds. How long does it take diamonds to form? The answer to that is we really don't know how long it takes. There's no consistent process or formula there. It may be that diamonds form over periods as short as a few days, weeks, or months, or it could take years. Typically, as we look at, or as we think about with many crystals that grow in the earth, it's not a continuous process. This is similar to our own growth journey, if you think about it, talking about parallels again. It's not always continuous, linear, or predictable process. It's not. We take many different twists and turns along the way. There are often unexpected events that cause us to take pause and sometimes redirect our focus. The diamonds may start to grow. Then there may be an interruption for some reason. Could be a change in conditions, temperature, pressure, sources of carbon, whatever. And they could sit there sedentary for millions or hundreds of millions of years and then start growing again. But we think about it. That's what makes diamonds so rare and so precious. In order for them to evolve into precious gems that they become, they had to endure a significant amount of pressure over time to get there. Similar to the journey of that diamond over time to reach its final state of crystallization and take form to become the precious element it is, we as individuals have to endure intermittent moments of pressure and discomfort as well over various points in time to develop the skills and success we strive to see. This journey could be relatively short or it could take an extended amount of time. But at the end result is a rare and amazing element. And when we look back on how far we've come, the victory will look so sweet and feel so sweet. The fact of the matter is, and the point of this debate is that all matter under certain levels of pressure will take a new form. So if you are the matter and your current situation is the pressure environment that you have to navigate through, what form will you choose to take? There's a significant difference here that we should recognize. The process of diamonds forming over time under high heat and high pressure, that's a natural process. There's not a lot of think or a lot of decision making in it. But it's vastly different from you and I as individuals. You get to choose how you react to the pressure imposed on you. You decide how you evolve and grow. Right? So Martin Luther King Jr. once said, and I quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." MLK first said this, and he was alluding to the fact that a person's true moral fiber is only apparent in times of deep struggle and challenge and cannot be fully measured in times of peace. As we mentioned earlier, when everything is great, it's easy. But it's when things are hard will you crumble and fall apart. Take every experience you encounter and determine what lesson you are to learn from it. Embrace the pressure you endure and accept the idea that it will challenge you. It will test the stamina of your character. It will try to break you. It will even offer you the chance to give up. But don't succumb to your pressures and let them win. There is no doubt you are better and stronger than that.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Why Behind You. I hope you were able to gain additional insight and perspective from this week's discussion. If you felt this topic was a benefit to you, please hit subscribe to this podcast and share this message with others that may benefit as well. Please feel free to email me your comments and suggestions at you@thewhybehindyu.org. I hope you have a great rest of your day and week, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of The Why Behind You.